The end of the Storm tournament continues, guys, and we are still in the winner's bracket. All of these games are best of 3 series, so we have a lot of action in the next few days. And today we're having a really nice match. We have a highlight. It is NaVi going up against Fnatic, and the first map is Cursed Hollow. Both of these teams meeting each other in the winner bracket, and this is going to be a pretty good one. At this point, we're actually having bans on Tyrande and Tyrael. Tyrael because he's just such an amazing hard engage, and he's often used in Blood for Blood combinations. And Tyrande was banned out because, well, we all know how strong Muradin and Tyrande is, and these days NaVi has been focusing on that combination a lot. In this game now we have for NaVi Illidan together with Abathur, so finally we're seeing the slug again, and we all know how strong Illidan can be on his own. If he's supported by Abathur, that's of course even better. Fnatic, on the other hand, went into the Lost Vikings here, running a Zeratul and a Khaldor together with that, so it's going to be a pretty intense game here on Cursed Hollow. Let's jump right into it and find out who's going to take the lead in the best of 3 series.
It is time for NaVi versus Fnatic. Our match here in the round of 8 at the end of the Storm 2 tournament, the final tournament. And we are seeing the first map, of course. This is Cursed Hollow. We're having a best of 3 series between the two teams, and currently to the left side of the map, it is NaVi. We have Shrimpy on Abathur today, trying to play an Illidan comp here as Eternal jumped on Illidan. We have JPL on Sylvanas, the player who replaced Celium. Breeze is playing Muradin, and Splendor on Brightwing. To the right side of the map, it is Team Fnatic with Ace of Spades on Malfurion. Kaysil is playing Kel'Thas. We're having Lowell on Zeratul. Starting to like his Zeratul play here. Freds on Anubarak and Shinobu on the Lost Vikings. So they got the Vikings once again in the game, and let's see how they can use them here. Already Shinobu taking the Watchtower, setting one to the bot lane. Looks like they're trying to soak 2 lanes with Shinobu and just have 4 man up at the top. Lowell, in this case, of course, is going to be one of the heroes that will try to help Kel'Thas with the setup, since he can simply use a Void Prism, and then Kaysil can move in with Phoenix and Flame Strike. And here comes the attack already, going straight for the top lane. Illidan is there. Eternal can do nothing against this team. 4 heroes moving in. There's nothing that you can do here. What Breeze is currently attempting to do is just zone Shinobu out so that he doesn't get any experience. He's also not really attacking the wave too much, as you can see. Up at the top lane, though, the first tower is already down. The second one is going to fall soon. Abathur is already there, trying to help out at least with the Locust. And here comes JPL, but this tower is not going to survive either. Actually, they move back. They don't want to take the fight just yet. Ace of Spades is low, and he goes down. The rest of the team escapes for now, eats a bit more damage, but still, job well done. Down to the bot lane, Abathur is soaking the lane with his symbiote. If you're a bit newer to Heroes of the Storm, the few things that you really know to need to know about Abathur's soaking, where he gets EXP, it's actually pretty simple. Everywhere where there is a symbiote head, he gets EXP when something dies, which is the case right down here. Everywhere where you can see his body in range of experience, he will get experience when his body dies. And everything that he kills. So locusts, for example, don't give you experience. But if the locust kills a minion, then you get the experience for this one single minion. But if the locust is just attacking one minion of the wave, and next to that minion 2 others die, the locust itself does not get any experience. The same is also true for the monstrosity, by the way. So the 2 main means for Abathur to really soak EXP is his symbiote, his Abathur hat, and using the body somewhere out of the gates, going into one of those bushes. When, for example, there's a push for a tribute at the bot lane and everybody goes to the bot lane, he can just move into a bush up at the top lane here, for example, and soak the waves. That's how Abathur usually gets 6 experience. And that's what a good Abathur player will always do. Down here we have Breeze now trying to still zone out Shinobu. Abathur is already in position. We're having at the same time, though, JPL starting to go for the tribute right there to the bot lane. That's where we have the push of Fnatic. They're going in with everything that they have and try to take down these structures. And they are, well, I don't really want to say that they are in a position where they get ahead really in experience, but they are definitely applying a lot of pressure here and keeping NaVi occupied. NaVi going into pressurized glance and Adrenal Overlord on the side of Abathur, so standard build if you try to bodyguard an Illidan, and that's exactly what they're trying to do here. The Illidan comp with Abathur is still very, very strong. Illidan himself, of course, for Shadow Shield and Immolation, there's no other talents that you can really take on him on these levels. Oh, up here, look at that. Lowell on his Zeratul got found out, but gets a bit of damage in. Blinks away again. Sylvanas, what's it going to be? With the wind? Yes, the normal talent. We saw actually the barbed shot taken earlier, barbed arrow. Oh, here comes the Gage again. Kaysil is low. Fred's just barely getting away. All of them move away in the last second. No kill for Na'Vi, but the first kill for them still thanks to the drop against Malfurion at the top lane. That's why we still see Shinobu soaking the lane here against Splendor. Splendor has skilled his protective shield on level 4. Didn't go for that additional... Well, he could have gone for promote, you know, like could have tried to just like counter pressure here a bit. But it's so important to have that shield for Illidan going into the protective shield then later on. Oh, looks like Breeze is maybe a bit too far out. Needs to jump back here and does so. But that's the tribute, or the first one that ends up in the hands of Fnatic. And they are still on even level with the experience on like Na'Vi. I actually really like how Fnatic is currently running this, but I'm more impressed by Na'Vi, how they are able to keep up in experience, how they're making sure that they're not falling behind, even though they lose structures here against their opponents. That's pretty impressive. Like those structures alone, all the towers that Fnatic has killed out, that's a lot of EXP right there. But with all the soaking, with Shrimpy jumping with his Abathur, Symbiote head through the lanes, and also his body, they've been able to really stay in a position where they are on the same amount of XP. Eternal gets a kill up there, but he might die for that. Oh, good moves away, but it's not enough. Good kill against Illidan here. So they pick him off after all. The first root was still dodged, and immediately we have Shrimpy there. Going to the top lane, trying to use a Symbiote, getting of course also his Locust on that lane to try and push that back a bit, but it's going to be tricky. The well is going to go down for sure. At the bot lane though, we have another tribute spawning, and that will be the second one for the teams. We're seeing now, again, these auto attack builds with focused attack and follow through on Zeratul. That's what he's currently using here. And another thing, we're having the full Beetle build on Anubarak. We're not usually talking too much about the Lost Vikings because, let's be honest here, the Lost Vikings, they have one single build right now, and that's all that there is. You go for the Viking Horde on level 1, then you go for Spin to win on level 4, and we have Jump on level 7. There are just no other talents that really make sense on this hero, at least not at this point. Currently, the Needle Spine's taken on level 7 for Abathur, going for that extra damage. Remorseless on Sylvanas, which is basically the follow-through talent in the Sylvanas variation. Good stun out against two of the heroes here. JPL interrupted. Still tribute number 3, by the way, on the map. Still the tribute that we've been talking about earlier. Hasn't been taken. Kaysil goes down. Well done by Illidan. Oh, and they're wrecking Shinobu now as well. 2 heroes down, and all of a sudden, Na'Vi not only taking the lead in the experience, but also now in a position where they can grab tribute number 2. Very well done here. Illidan with really nice aggression in that fight, kind of made up for that death up at the top lane that we saw earlier. Abathur was in the bush here, soaking experience with his body, and that's really something that kind of shows. Like, this is one of the reasons why they are now hitting level 10 this early. With the Wailing Arrow Metamorphosis, Abathur is going for the ultimate evolution, of course, and we're going to see 4 Brightwing. I would be very surprised to see anything else but Blink Heal. And there it is. You don't really need Emerald Wind if you're running an Illidan. You want to have the extra heal. As you can see, Ultimate Evolution is being chosen here. Having a double Illidan going up against you is always just so annoying. That's exactly what happens once that Abathur uses that ability. You always copy Illidan, and then you have suddenly 2 Illidans jumping in, and that is very, very annoying in these fights. Lol, on the other hand, has taken Void Prison now. We have the Longbow, Web Blast, Tranquility, Phoenix, and Void Prison taken. And, well, Lol actually, well, they found him. Up there we have, at this point, Sylvanas trying to apply some damage as another tribute spawns on the map. And that is actually the important one. This tribute would curse Fnatic. Fnatic with Moonfire spam on the side of Ace are trying to interrupt the channel. But Ace is suddenly... Oh, Ace was trying to interrupt it again. Moves out and gets dropped. Here comes the Void Prism setup. There's already a Phoenix. Freds is... Oh, in place! No! Gets locked down and gets killed. Oh, Na'Vi is just playing this so well. Once again, they take the tribute, and that gives them now not only the curse against Fnatic, but also the opportunity to take a boss and do even more damage with it. We have 2 heroes still down for Fnatic, and Na'Vi is just playing a great game here. These comps that they are playing are super difficult to deal with, and especially Illidan, of course, is wreaking havoc in that backline over and over again. The boss is already taken, and now there's another 50 seconds of curse on the map, which means that this fort up at the top is definitely going to die. Down to the bot lane, Shrimpy just transitioned back over, soaking experience with his body on Abathur. Lowell is looking for him, finds him a bit late, jumps in, oh, there he sees him, but he can't kill him. Can't kill him, but he takes the tower down and he goes through the wall now as well. Abathur was trying to go for the slap there, maybe. Not quite, but yeah. Always fun to see a Slabathur taking kill somewhere. And the mid lane, on the other hand, we're having a focus now on the wall towards the keep already. Oh, that's an aggressive one. And keep in mind that this boss is still on the move, so it already took down the fort at the top lane and is now moving in towards the next wall. Over here, we're having NaVi, for now, saying, okay, the fort is enough, at least for the time being. Down here, it's Shrimpy and Shinobu, both just standing in bushes. Or oh, he's actually going to go into that bush, isn't he? Yeah, he is! Oh, and does Shinobu see it? I do not think he will. Can't do anything about it. There's not enough damage on Olaf to take down Abathur just that fast. So, over here, we're having the boss finally taken out in the mid lane. I mean, all the damage that has been done. We have a level lead, an entire level for NaVi. NaVi is currently at level 13 already, and that put talents like Spell Shield on Sylvanas into play, the Thunderclap talent for Thunderstrike. We're having also the evasion talent, so that you can finally dodge these abilities as well, and not only the right clicks. Ice Block and Spatial Efficiency. I'm really not a big fan of spatial efficiency. I think that Soma transference on Illidan is much, much better. But at least in this case, we're having on level 7 Needle Spine taken. So if you run special efficiency on level 13, then you at least want to take level 7 Needle Spines. Oftentimes you see an Abathur go for a talent like Mule on level 7 and still go for the spatial efficiency. And I personally think that doesn't really make too much sense there. Right now, be it as it may, we're having Abathur actually doing a whole lot of damage, or at least I think he did. 14,000. He has the most damage in the entire game just now. And that is something that Abathur can just easily do. You need to be really good when it comes to experience soaking and also to the siege damage, so that you can always position yourself properly. It's not as easy as it usually sounds, but if you have a good build and if you're very active on the map, and then you can get insane damage on Abathur. And that's exactly what Shrimpy is doing here currently. He's playing a great Abathur and has a good assist now for his own teammates, and especially, of course, in this case, for Illidan, who is once again moving in. Together with Sylvanas, you drop forts so easily, and that's exactly what happens here. Yeah, we have the move in. There's Ace of Spades and Frats. Lowell is starting to come in from behind. Yeah, there's Brightwing, and Web Blast already being used. Immediately attacked by the Venom talent. And yeah, there comes the Phoenix. It's a really good Phoenix, but can they get the damage in? Malfurion is about to die. Down goes the healer. Shinobu wasn't there yet with Eric. Finally, Eric is there. Could go for the longbow. Not just yet, though. Here comes the longbow. The Vikings start singing. Can he maybe get a kill with this? It doesn't look likely. They are all up. We have Zeratul starting to jump in. Wow, NaVi is just playing this so well. This is just brutal. But Sylvanas dies after all, and it looks like Splendor is going down too. And Lowell, he wants Illidan. He wants Illidan. Eternal trying to dodge a stun that never came, and he goes down to NaVi with a great engagement, great fights at first, and they just overstayed by a bit, and all of a sudden it was Fnatic that made the calls. Now we have level 16 ready for NaVi, just a tiny bit too late to really have any kind of impact on the last fight. There's Envenomed Spines, we have Critterize taken, Stone Form, Blood for Blood, and Cold Embrace. But NaVi is now in a position where Fnatic suddenly can really pressure them. They will lose a fort at the bot lane. There's already, by the way, a Siege Giant camp working on it, but their boss is of course going to do even more. The level 16 talent is therefore going to hit for Fnatic as well. And so far, Fnatic hasn't really lost anything when it comes to important structures. Of course, there were a few forts that have been demolished, but they haven't really lost the keep yet. Shinobu is still soaking experience in the mid lane, and also has another Viking up at the top that helps him to get that lane too. He soaks 3 lanes at this point. He has Vikings everywhere, and he's doing extremely well with that. Hardened focus on Malfurion is going to make it very easy for Malfurion to get additional heal out there. Just having those cooldowns regenerate so much faster, you can get the heal out, another... Well, you're not really going to use it for the Moonfire, but well, you have a lot of spam on Moonfire anyways, and you can use the heal. Abathur just barely moving back in the last second, by the way, that was a good one. Nice react. I'm really liking how Shrimpy is playing here. By the way, one of the reasons why Malfurion is currently having a bit of trouble into these fights, or into these battles, is that he didn't pick Ice Block on level 13. Like, instead he's running it with Life Seed. And don't get me wrong, Life Seed is amazing. I love Life Seed. But he is being focused a lot because of it. So Malfurion, for him, positioning is going to be everything in these battles. If he can position himself in a way that he's not being attacked all the time, then we can definitely see him put out the most crazy numbers in heals. Of course, on 16 now it's also Ignite that becomes important. This is like the first fight that we are going to see 16 versus 16, and now we're having Ignite, and that is going to be great for Fnatic. We've seen the power spike in Khaldor several times already earlier, especially when Pushing Team was playing, so that's going to be amazing for them. Breeze over here. Oh, good Void Prison. There's already the Phoenix in play. And can they get a bit more damage in? They're trying to. Oh, but the heroic ability of Illidan comes into play as Metamorphosis is being used. Illidan in the back line. The kill against Khaldor. Oh, and Malfurion is dying now too. They're trying to get a counter kill, but lol, he is not able to get that much damage in. Shinobu is getting wrecked. Oh my god, that momentum from one moment to another. It just turns completely. As Khaldor, you want to play the poking game. You want to have long drawn out fights at a distance where nobody really commits so that you can get one flame strike after another in. And NaVi just said, no, no, we don't want that. We don't like that. We know that you're going to win that battle, so we're going to jump you, and we're going to jump you hard. They jumped in with everything that they had. Muradin with 2 Illidans, and then they started to wreck Fnatic here. All of a sudden, NaVi is back, and with a vengeance at that. 10 kills versus 4, and they are moving into the mid lane right now. With Sylvanas, they can easily take down a keep. I don't think they should have any problems with that. The Vikings are still trying to take a couple of camps there. Shinobu is doing what he can, but they are falling behind in experience, and they also lost one of their keeps, and therefore the lane is going to start to push in pretty hard. Taking those siege giants is not even so much about like trying to get the giants to do something. It's more about making sure that your opponent doesn't get them, so that they can't simply push in the bot lane with Sylvanas, with Black Arrow trade, and then with the siege giants in the back applying even more damage. So now the move up to the middle. We are also already seeing at the bottom lane, well, there's Splendor, JPL, Eternal, and Breeze rotating again. Abathur by now has taken a position back at home, has said like, okay boys, I'm just going to sit there for a while and I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to get taken out here. But he can move onto the lanes pretty soon again. Another potential fight here. Keep in mind that the level 20 talent is not ready for NaVi yet, but it will be soon. So this is one of those moments for Fnatic where they have to say like, it's now or never. We can fight this. There comes already the Flame Strike. Nice dodge on Lowell, by the way. That was a really good juke that he had there. So level 20 is going to be there soon. Breeze is using everything that he can. But here comes the team curse against the blue team. The Vikings were there. They did what they had to do. The stun against Malfurion. Oh my god, Ace is going to die, isn't he? He uses the roots. He's trying to get away. Khaldor is already dead. The rest of the team is already on the move. Maybe a counter kill against Illidan. Malfurion is now dead. Illidan survives. Splendor moved in and healed him once again. And Fred's now initiating in a bit too far. He basically suicided there, went too deep. The curse isn't helping them at all. They have their curse, but it's 20 versus 18 now. That talent came into play during the battle. Hive Mind, Rewind, we have the Hardened Shield and also a double blink, and they are going straight for core. They want to finish this game right now. NaVi, they are cursed and they could not care less. They go in with 13 kills against 4, trying to finish this game. Eternal jumping in with the Zillion again, Brightwing with the heals, Blink heal everywhere. It is completely useless for Fnatic, or is it? The Void Prison cooldown is up again. They killed JPL, but it doesn't make a difference. This is game number 1 ending in favor of Team NaVi. Congratulations, they take the lead in the best of 3 series here at the Enter the Storm tournament.
NaVi, they take game number 1 in the lead in the best of 3 here. Fnatic not able to overcome their composition, and now we're going into map number 2. And of course Fnatic has to take this map if they want to force a third map and therefore secure their chance to win this best of 3 and to advance in the winner bracket. Nobody wants to drop in that loser bracket now. Sky Temple is the next map, and it is the map choice of Fnatic, and this time they are running the Illidan composition. But we're seeing on the side of their opponents already Muradin and Tyrande, and we've talked about this of course a lot. It's so strong as a roaming squad in the early game, and even later on, if you get that lockdown against the target and you apply the Hunter's Mark, you can just burst any hero down within seconds. Game number 2, going to show us if we're going to find a third map being played in this best of 3, or if NaVi takes it with a 2-0. Sky Temple coming up next.
It could potentially be the last map of the day. We have the best of 3 series between NaVi and Fnatic going into game number 2. And currently NaVi is leading with a 1-0 against their opponents here. So here on Sky Temple, Fnatic has to take it and force a third game, or they are out of the winner's bracket and will drop down to the loser's bracket of the Enter the Storm tournament. To the left side of the map, we're having Tyrande played by Shrimpy. Eternal is playing Jaina for NaVi. Breeze on Muradin, playing the tank of course. We have Splendor on Malfurion and JPL on Sylvanas. To the right side of the map is Fnatic, and they are starting here with Ace of Spades on Bright, doing Shinobu on Anubarak, Lowell on Illidan, Kaysil playing Zagara, and Frats is playing ETC. So a double tank that we are seeing on the side of Fnatic. Oh, I'm liking it. 100% beef. ETC is rocking it. Moo! Going straight for it. If you see that cow running towards you, then you should hide because danger. Well, right now we're having Breeze, Shrimpy, and JPL actually like roaming the bot lane, not even thinking about going up to the top where the watchtower is located. The roaming squad is, of course, once again real when we're talking NaVi here. We have Shrimpy and Breeze with Muradin and with Tyrande. Oh, a bit of a staring contest here. Look at that. Who's trapping who? Who's gonna take it there? I'm not quite sure, but yep. Who blinks first? That's basically what we're talking about here, right? Looks like Breeze and Shrimpy are a bit more cautious. Well, yeah, there's nothing that's gonna happen there. Oh my god. Misses the Stormbolt against Lowell. Yeah, that was not really planned. But at the top, we're going for the power slide against Eternal. And in this case, Illidan is helping out, but the kill against Anubarak. Fnatic losing the first hero, but they might be able to kill Jaina as a counter kill. And yes, they get the counter kill against Jaina, so it's a 1-for-1 in this case. Pretty good start into the game. It's of course once again that roaming squad that I've been talking about earlier with Muradin and Tyrande. Stun into stun with a Hunter's Mark. It's just the damage output that you have there. And the setup in general is pretty sick that we're seeing here for NaVi. They have a very, very strong lineup with this. But Fnatic has a pretty decent Illidan composition too. The thing about Illidan in this comp is that he's not jumping in with only one hero. They have 3 frontliners basically. They have 2 tanks, 2 warriors with Frats and Shinobu playing ETC and Anubarak, and then you have Illidan jumping in together with them, and suddenly you have a whole big brawl going on in that backline, and that is pretty cool. So right now, as you can see, we're having a temple taken in the mid lane. Well, both of the teams are trying to go for this one. At the top lane, it's only Muradin trying to stand that out. Fnatic is currently in position where they are taking a slight leading experience. It's not big, but it gives them level 4 a bit faster. They're starting to pick their talents, but unfortunately for them, NaVi gets the talent basically at the same time. So full Beetle build on the side of Shinobu's Anubarak. They're seeing the Power Slide build for ETC, going for the double neck guitar on level 4 after rolling like a stone on level 1. So you just enhance the width and also the length of the Power Slide, which is pretty damn cool. It's really nice. Gives you a lot of utility. Most of the temple actually ending up in the hands of Fnatic, but up at the top lane they are trying to get for a bit more than that. Level 5 versus level 5. Illidan and Sylvanas just dancing that dance down there at the bot lane, and so far it looks like Sylvanas is winning. Arcane Intellect taken on level 4 for Jaina here. We're having also Muradin with a Reverberation build, of course against Illidan. You want to reduce his attack speed as much as you can, and that's why you have to go for these talents for the Thunderclap, and that's exactly what they do. Now Sylvanas, on the other hand, at the bot lane is starting to rotate over. She's now in the mid lane, trying to apply some pressure here, and is also a bit closer to the fight in case that she has to move in and try and help out, maybe somewhere in the middle. We're seeing also Zagara with an attempt to just like cover the map, or at least the top part, in creep. It's actually a pretty decent creep spread that we're seeing here, like good vision. Really good vision at most of the crucial spots. So NaVi is slacking off a bit when it comes to taking down the creep tumors. That's definitely something that we have to talk about there. Breeze actually, as if he heard it, moves in, takes the first one down, and it looks like he's also very allergic against the scouting drones. And I can't blame him. Having all that vision for your opponent is definitely not healthy. Especially if you want to go for a roaming squad that tries to take down heroes by sneakily moving in from behind and going for a double stun. Then of course you're hating that a lot. Yeah, we have by now level 7 head for Fnatic, so that helps. Oh, look at that. Paralysis. Okay, I didn't see that coming, I have to admit. So JPL going for Paralysis, that makes it of course a bit easier. You just double the duration of your Black Arrow, of your trait. I have not seen that in competitive play yet, and he doesn't go for Unstable Poison, he goes for Remorseless instead, having him on level 1 with Wither Wind still. So what started out as a normal Sylvanas build has now a very interesting twist on level 4. I don't think I've ever seen that talent taken in competitive. I'm wondering if he misclicked because he thought that he was already skilling the level 7 talent, which has the exact same icon, or if that's really a choice that he made, because I think Envenom is pretty decent on that level. If you really don't feel like it, especially when you're going for basically single target damage as he does with Remorseless, not for pushing power. I would have understood that a bit more if he was trying to go for pushing power, but considering his level 7 talent, I think we are looking at a misclick here. At the bot lane now, 3 heroes, actually 4 from Fnatic are moving in, and the cow, they're going straight up the render, trying to get her there, but Lowell is very, very injured. Oh, and as I say, he gets one shield after another and is able to survive there after all. Breeze already had to jump back, and suddenly there's a whole lot of momentum going for Fnatic. They're doing really well here, having them also running this now with Endless, with the Endless Creep, which helps them with vision, of course, on the map. It's actually really great talent to have in this case. Vision on this map against the roaming squad is absolutely priceless. Level 9 hitting faster for them, but that of course doesn't give them a massive advantage, only a slight stat bonus. And of course NaVi is going to hit that talent very soon now as well. Lunar Blaze already taken in this case, and as you can see here, Mule and Piercing Bolt have been taken as the level 7 talents on Malfurion and Muradin. And the temple so far in the hands of Fnatic, and they are actually closing in on level 10 too. Right now, is NaVi going to move in and try and get one of those kills? There stuns a beetle. Roach, actually. Apparently someone played Protoss in StarCraft 2 and really hates roaches. I would have stunned the hero next to it, but well, I guess if you played Protoss and had to deal with all those one supply roaches back in the days, then you hate roaches with a passion. Over here, Breeze already at the front line again. No Roach to hit just yet, but maybe he settles for a hero this time. We're having currently also at the top lane, or in the mid lane at least, having 3 heroes of NaVi moving in and trying to take on a couple of structures down. Oh, Lowell trying to use his heroic ability to just stop them. That was really close. I mean, in hindsight, it's a bit of a waste, but that was so close. If you would have hit one of the heroes that were mounted, he would have gotten close enough, and then one would have died at least, and if the other 2 would have tried to keep them alive, then even more would have gone down here. So, a pretty good attempt by him here. The cooldown is, of course, pretty significant on his heroic, so they won't be able to fight any big fights for quite some time right now. The Maw over here also being used, not hitting anything. Whoa, these targets are a bit off the mark. So the Water Elemental is slowing down ETC. Shrimpy is actually stunning him out as well, and Breeze is already there for an additional stun. Hunter's Mark is chosen. Power Slide to get away. And once again the slow thanks to Eternal. Goodbye ETC. Yeah, well done. Really well done. NaVi sees an opportunity on the map and they take it, and they are still very close in experience to their opponents, so both of the teams are heading into level 11 right now. There's no big advantage for neither one. I mean, they're both playing a pretty solid game, taking opportunities that they get, a few overextensions that you could see there, but I mean, that's easy. Like, it's very tempting. If you are in a position like that, you want to go for that kill. You want to just make that one play that really puts you in a position where you can start to get ahead in kills, ahead in experience, and take it there. So, I'm really curious to find out how exactly that's going to play out in the mid game, or in the late game, because the thing is that every single kill that you get is of course getting punished by those increasing death timers a lot, and then one overextension can cost you the game. Right now it's still quite acceptable, you know, like getting one hero killed doesn't matter too much unless you are being forced in a team fight that you then lose afterwards, but so far it hasn't made an impact. We're having Blink Heal, Locust Swarm, Metamorphosis, Maw, and also Stage Dive being used. So we're having 2 heroes with global presence. And Brightwing jumping in, double stun here by the Lunar Flare. Well done by Eternal, by Shrimpy, I think. Shrimpy is playing Tyrande, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he is. So yeah, he's using that. He played a great game as Abathur in the last game, by the way. It was really amazing to see that. Really well played. Big help for his team. But right now, they are, of course, not running with Abathur here. But still. Looking a bit at the damage, let's just talk about this for a second. The damage and also the heals, yeah, Brightwing is doing his thing and just completely out-healing everybody else in the game. We're having Zagara with a lot of damage against heroes, 9,400 already, but still, Jaina is ahead. Jaina and also Sylvanas, they are taking the lead. They have 11,000 damage done already. And if you're pushing with the Jaina, you know that, sorry, with the Sylvanas, you know that you are doing a lot of work there, and that's exactly what's currently happening there. Oh, here comes the jump. Both of them jumping in, and they're going straight for Jaina, but they're not getting the kill. Oh, they get it finally. The Maw much better now, trapping 2 heroes. This is what Fnatic was waiting for the entire time. 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kills, and they have the 13 talent to go with that. Skilling face shield now. We're having on a Nuburak symbiotic armor. It's the standard talent for Shinobu to go for when he's playing his hero. Normally, I actually think like he's one of the few that takes that talent. A lot of the others are just going for the chitinous plating or even for the additional damage thanks to the burning rage. Currently the boss attacked and they are going to get that. Not only that, they get boss and the temple at the bot lane that they're currently claiming. Level 13 is by now also ready for NaVi, but NaVi is now a level behind. And they have to deal with the boss. And they have to deal with all the camps that Fnatic is now going to take, because, well, that's what they are going to do very soon here. Lowell is already starting. He is straight going for it. Yeah, well, down to the bot lane at the bottom left. The boss is now being followed by 4 heroes, by 5 actually. They're trying to burst him down as fast as he can. And let's just see how they are going to run with that. That is going to be an easy defense. As long as you focus on the boss with 5 people and your opponent isn't trying to like take you down while you do it, it's normally not really a problem to take down the boss unless we're talking Haunted Mines with a 100 Skull Golem, but that's a bit of a different matter. But at the same time now, the map presence is completely in the hands of Fnatic. I mean, they have creep everywhere. Just look at that mini-map. Creep is everywhere on this map. Like, there's nothing that you can do without being spotted by a creep tumor if you move into the middle of the map at some point. Well, Ace might be a bit out. Oh, wow. Breeze missing another Storm Bolt, and Ace just jumping back with a Blink heal. That worked well for him, and now that the entire team is at the top lane, Fnatic takes the camps at the bot lane. They just simply take this one. We're having on level 13 face melt taken, which is actually kind of interesting. So this is one of those talents where you're basically so slow that it looks like you're getting stunned. Just fades out and then you speed up again, but at the beginning it really locks you down hard. Okay, so what else? Well, Fnatic is playing this. The thing is, like, right now it feels like NaVi is playing this very, very cautiously. They want to wait for the next temples, apparently, trying to take a fight over there, and that's the smart play to make. But Fnatic is probably going to try and wait for level 16 before they engage into any kind of battle. And that's bad news for NaVi. NaVi would like to fight now, before 16 hits, but guess who's going to deliver the experience? It is going to be Brightwing. Brightwing already with a scouting drone. Oh, very smartly done. Making sure that he can get away there, and he does. They have the 16 talent. Of course, the idea of NaVi was to move in, take Brightwing out, and drop him right there, but yeah, they couldn't make that. The scouting drone revealing the position of Tyrande, and immediately Brightwing moved back and made sure that he escaped up to the top. And now NaVi can't fight. NaVi can't go in. They are without level 16 talent, they are level behind, so they are in a very, very awkward situation where they want to go in, they want to fight, they want to do something, but they can't. Because they know that their opponents are so strong right now that fighting this battle is going to be a very difficult one. ETC is of course taking the top temple. That means that he can jump in with a quick stage dive whenever need be. And there it is. Stage dive already being used. And ETC stunned so that he couldn't go for a power slide on his own. But he is already moving into Rocket. We have the temple taken, and that temple is nearly depleted, by the way. 16 versus 15 still, but they're still fighting for it. Oh, that was great! That was great, that arrow by Sylvanas. Very well done, the silence, and down goes an Uburak. Can they maybe win a 4 versus 5 right now, or 5 versus 4? Fnatic is jumping in. Lowell, they're on the move back. They're losing threads now too. Wow, even without the talent, NaVi wins the fight. They win the fight. They're now on level 16, still a level behind. Still 1 level behind, but they're going now for Stone Form. We're having them with Cold Embrace. They're running the Numbing Blast here. I'm actually even a bit surprised that it's the Numbing Blast over Northern Exposure, considering that they went into Cold Embrace and already have a Tyrande there. I think with all 3 of them, that would be amazing damage. What is the Eternal doing down there? Well, dying, I suppose. Fnatic was moving in, and I found him somewhere on the map and just said like, alright boy, if you want to die, then that's fine. We're gonna go and take you down here immediately. So Ace, Lowell and Kesil are starting to move back right now. Up to the top lane we have another bruiser camp taken. So they're starting to go for that again and try to, of course, push the lanes a bit. With this situation as is, you take the camp at the bot lane and then you try to go into a fight for one of the temples. You can't wait until your opponent has level 20. That always puts you in an awkward spot unless there's no temple that activates at that time. So we're probably going to see them move into a position where they can maybe soak experience in 2 lanes, where they either go for a fight or when they could even like try to go for a push on one of the lanes, force a TP back by Fnatic, move back, and on the way back take a few waves with them. Like, there's a couple of options that they have, but the bottom line is they need to try and close the gap in experience. That's what they definitely should do. Once you hit level 20, it doesn't really matter too much. If you're level 20 or 21, level 21 or 22, the difference are a couple of stats. That is, of course, nice to have, and it's not like it doesn't matter at all, but compared to what a talent lead gives you, it's not a big deal. Yeah, boss is there, and that's the battle that they're apparently trying to take. If they can get a kill here, if they kill someone here, they could get boss, but that's also true for Fnatic. And there comes ETC. ETC jumping in, water elemental being used, and an immediate kill against Sylvanas. Great move there, and oh god, Jaina is trapped, but the stun against Illidan. Illidan is getting away in the last second here. Illidan being bursted, but it's too late. Jaina's already down. They get the kill against Illidan, but it's still a 5 or 4 versus 3, and Shrimpy is super low here, and he can micro his heart out, but he is going to die. So it's 3 kills against 2, against 1 actually only. 5 kills against 8 in total, and now the boss on the map is being attacked once more. As another temple that opens up in a second, and this is great for Fnatic. We might see our 4th best of 3 of the day also go into a 3rd map, into a deciding map between the 2 teams here. Right now, the boss is going to go down. They're going to get the temple. ETC is already moving up on the platform. Still a level lead, and yeah, they can soak the experience here. It's a massive wave, by the way. There's a lot of EXP, and we're having the rest of NaVi just trying to soak. I mean, they're sitting tight, they're sitting back, they're trying to do their thing. Looking again here at the healing, and also look at those healing numbers. Malfurion is currently on 20,000 against the 42,000 on Brightwing. Not even talking about stuff like damage here. 25,000 on the side of Jaina. They're having Sylvanas with nearly 20,000, but if you then look to Fnatic, 27,000 on Zagara, 15,000 on Illidan alone, and that single target damage and no AoE involved. That is pretty strong. That is actually pretty cool. So yeah, currently the 20s are ready, and that means that we are seeing for Fnatic with demonic form, we're having a Bolt of the Storm, and what's going to be on ETC? Death Metal? Crowd Pleaser? Nah, you know fun. He goes for Storm Shield. The safer talent, I suppose, but not the fun one. Crowd Pleaser is actually really funny. In case that you don't know what the talent does, once you use Stage Dive, and for every single target, for every single opponent that you hit, your cooldown is going to be reduced by 15 seconds. So basically, if you hit 5 people, it means that you can use it twice in a row. If you hit them again, you can use it again. So you can hop around the map like a bunny, and it's pretty fun. Like, if you are in a game where you're already in the lead, try it out. It's a great talent to take, it's a fun one. But of course, let's be realistic here. The Storm Shield is definitely the better choice when you want to win your game. And when there's something on the line, and that's definitely the case here. So, yeah, we have that talent taken, and Nuburak is thankful for the spell shield. We have, by the way, both of the globals up at the top lane, Brightwing and ETC. They are already jumping in. Down to the bot, it's basically just like a stall tactic that they have there. But experience is, in the end, gonna bring NaVi to level 20. The only thing with that is, though, that until then, we might see 1 or 2 keeps even fall. There's like a lot of siege giants down here, and, well, that doesn't really look too good. Yep, that keep... Oh, the mule! One more, and goodbye. Yep, mule was too late. Up to the top. Also, a few of the structures already down. And yeah, 20 versus 20. Next fight could potentially decide the game. At least if Fnatic wins it. If NaVi wins it, I'm not so sure, because there are still keeps available and also complete walls. So you have to go through those first before you can attack the core. Fnatic could simply go bot lane and move in and take the core from there. 20 versus 21. the next battle is going to be the really important one. The next battle is really the one that you need to pay attention to. Who is going to take it there? Well, Freds is thinking about moving in. The temples are activated, so they're already starting to take the temples here. Breeze is up at the front, and in the back, the stun. 1 stun, 2 stun, they go straight for Freds, but he survives somehow with all those storm shields. They couldn't drop him, even with a cold embrace and everything else that they had. They could not drop the tank, they couldn't drop ETC, and now, wow, a power slide through 3 heroes thanks to the Maw setup. 2 already down, and this looks like Eternal might now die too. And if Eternal dies, if Eternal is dead, blood for blood kill in this case, and now they're simply moving past the keep and going straight for the core. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a 3rd game. We're going to see a 3rd game here. This is it. This is definitely it. They take it. Fnatic, they win game number 2 against NaVi. They tie the series, and therefore we'll see them go up against each other once more on the final map of the day. Congratulations to Fnatic. Really well played on Sky Temple here, and I can't wait for game number 3 between these 2 teams here at the end of the Storm tournament.
Yeah, pretty sick play there. We suddenly have a tight series. Again, we're going into map number 3. I couldn't be happier about that because it means more action for us in this great series. Fnatic versus NaVi is always fun to watch, and the last map is Tomb of the Spider Queen. And in the draft, probably the highlight was really that we're now seeing Stitches again. NaVi went into Stitches as their last pick, and they're running Stitches not as a solo tank, but we have him together with ETC. So there's a lot of disruption that they have. It all depends on which target they really can hook here, because a lot of the heroes that Fnatic is playing are very elusive with blinks, with jumps, and this is going to be a really interesting match. So guys, the last game of the best of 3 series. One of those teams is going to advance in the winner's bracket, the other one will have to fight their way through the loser's bracket. Who's it going to be? Coming up next on Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 3 between NaVi and Fnatic.
Welcome everybody to the last match of the day with NaVi versus Fnatic, the 3rd game of the best of 3 series. We are having to the left side of the map once again NaVi, and this time they're actually running a double tank comp with Stitches played by Shrimpy. We have Breeze on ETC, Splendor on Brightwing, Eternal on Jaina, and JPL on Sylvanas. To the right side of the map in this case we're currently looking at Fnatic, and Fnatic is playing this with Ace of Spades on the healer again, in this case Malfurion. Lowell is playing Zeratul, Fred's Tyrael, Shinobu Muradin, which they picked away from NaVi, and Kaysil on Kel'Thas. A pretty awesome draft happened there. People were dancing around the pick of Kel'Thas, everybody trying to scare the opponent off Kel'Thas by getting a few counter picks in, and the thought processes behind it were actually really nice. So that was pretty cool to see what was happening there. I am very interested to see how this game is going to end. Well, first of all, of course, it's going to be interesting because the winner is going to take the best of 3 series and will advance in the winner bracket, whereas the loser is going to drop down in the loser's bracket, but also because of the way that the draft was really being played here. So this is pretty cool, and I love this map as well. This map is pretty fun to watch, and in this case it's even better because we have a Stitches that NaVi was kind of forced into, not in the Stitches per se, but into running something else besides ETC at the front line. And that's what they're currently doing with Stitches. So Stitches wants to play, and NaVi, they listen to him. They said, alright buddy, you get a shot here, and Stitches on the map in general is pretty good normally. Oh, actually, good follow-up here. Really nice setup, but unfortunately not enough stun and lockdown to really get Breeze down. But the reason why Stitches is pretty good here is because these turn-in points are very close to each other. You can run Stitches later on in the mid lane, and you have access to both of them. Can send one of those hooks in. Once you have the 16 talent, you go for fishing hook. You have a very nice reach here. There's a lot of areas where you can simply hook a target over something and then get a very nice kill against it. But normally when you run it, you have some kind of lockdown, and in this case the only thing that they can rely upon is Brightwing going for a polymorph and of course ETC for a power slide. So this is one of the things that they will definitely try and do. If they get a good hook against Kel'Thas, then they can do... Oh, nice Breeze! Again escaping here, but yeah, these traps are really difficult. That Storm Ball together with then a lockdown and Kel'Thas even going for the Gravity Labs are very dangerous. But as I said already, like, they're gonna try and hook Malfurion and also Kaysil, especially Kel'Thas, of course, is the primary target for them. The problem is that if you hook someone like Tyrael, Muradin, or Zeratul, they should always be able to get away, and then you have a long cooldown on your hook again, and you didn't really accomplish anything. So we really need to be spot on with these hooks. If you have the perfect lockdown afterwards, if Brightwing gets that polymorph in immediately, you might be able to lock down a Tyrael long enough so that you can take him out here, or a Zeratul. But it's definitely going to be the risk. But Stitches, in this case, of course, going to play his sustain build once again. Chew Your Food in level 1 already taken. Oh, Schwimpy! Yeah, moves back there, just barely escapes. Frats and Lowell were trying to go for it. The Power Slide build already being used here for ETC. Once again, it's the most common build that we are seeing. The double neck guitar on level 4, and then on level 1 you just go for rolling like a stone. Help you out with that. There comes the hook against Lowell. He had his cooldown not ready, he was already blinking away. Hello, you need to be careful. That cooldown, using that before Stitches throws his hook, is pretty tricky. So in this case, he got away, but that hook definitely scared him for a second, I can promise you that much. We have on level 4 Netherwind taken for Kel'Thas. Reasons, of course, are that you usually cannot really stack too much extra damage on Kel'Thas, since he is very prone to dying. And then at the same time, this could be a potential kill! Not quite, the wave going away already. And then another reason is that you have really good setups with the increased speed on the gravity lapse and also the range. You can really do a whole lot of work in those fights and can make sure that you are getting maybe like 1 or 2 targets. If you use your trade, then you can get even more than that. The Verdant Spheres, you can get a really nice stun. And that helps you just so much if you have that additional speed and also the range on it. Also helps you, of course, to escape if somebody is trying to go for you and you are able to stop it in his tracks while you're trying to move away. There's already amplified healing taken. Damage is really going to come from Jaina and from Sylvanas mostly. You have, of course, with the tanks also some damage that they can use. He has that gravity lapse that we've been talking about, but you don't really need to go for any kind of other build on Stitches. Blizzard, in my opinion, kind of ruined the good old slam build when they just changed the level 16 talent completely. These days, sustain build is basically the build to go for on Stitches. You can get some damage out with the slam, but the problem is it's not really any kind of useful damage. Most of it is just like damage over time that you get also with that poison there. So the sustain build much better. Depends a bit on the setup here, but in most cases sustain will be the better choice compared to what the slam build does right now. Taking that mini-stun away from level 16 was, I feel, a bit of a mistake. That slow is just not good enough because it doesn't interrupt channel holds either, which was one of the main reasons why you would run that build in the first place. For now, though, both of the teams are focusing more on trying to turn their gems in. 35 already by NaVi. Map control is everything on this map. If you're playing Tomb of the Spider Queen, map control is absolutely amazing. Like, it's really important. It is absolutely amazing if you can control the map here, and this is exactly what NaVi is currently trying to do. They're turning they're turning in again already. Yeah, sorry guys, there have been a lot of games today. This is game number 12 right now, and we basically didn't really have a break, except for like those 3-minute breaks between matches where I could get myself something to drink from the kitchen, and that was about it. So, yeah. It kind of shows, I feel. So we're having for now the first Web Weavers descending, and with this, in this case, we have now not only the Web Weavers descending, we already have a level lead, and they are starting to rotate to the bottom now. There's a Mule, by the way, that has been taken by Malfurion, and that's going to help a bit. We see on Zeratul the auto attack build going for follow through on level 7 and focused on tech on level 4. We're seeing a full Thunderclap build with the additional piercing bolt on level 7 for Muradin. Rotations are happening already. Fnatic is trying to take these down, but Shrimpy, unfortunately for him, missing the hook here. They are still a level ahead. They've done damage at the bot lane. They're starting to rotate again, but all the way up to the top. Splendor was soaking some split push experience. We're having Shinobu and Ace going for the Web Weaver there, but the kill against Kel'Thas! Oh, NaVi getting that kill number 3. There was an attempt to rotate down. Shinobu just barely jumps away before that hook hits him. If that hook hits mid-jump or shortly after, like, that would have been a disaster for him. The problem that you have is that you need to time that really well, because if you don't, then ETC is just going to roll over you with a power slide, and then even escape talents won't really help you to get away from that. Mosh Pit, Putrid Bile, we have Blink Heal, Wailing Arrow, and Water Elemental taken. The standard talents for the heroes, maybe with the exception of ETC, where both talents are viable depending on the map. But on this one, Mosh Pit is, of course, a very solid choice. We're having, this is just a bit smaller than when you're playing on a map like, let's say, Sky Temple. Splendor also going for that. He has 13 of those gems. 68, by the way, for Fnatic. 68 versus 40, but Fnatic can't turn in. They don't have level 10. They are on level 9 still. So there's just nothing that they can do. They just sit there and say like, well, we have 71 gems right now, but we can't do anything about it. And once that Eternal turns in, there's going to be another set of Web Weavers descending, and that is going to put even more pressure on Fnatic. That's exactly what I meant when we've been talking about map control earlier. If you control the map, you can apply so much pressure to your opponent that they are going to fall farther and farther behind. Right now it's only a level difference, but it is going to become even more significant, especially now that the forts are starting to fall. We have a bit of a push by Freds at the bot lane and also up at the top. The reason why they're doing this is because the Web Weavers are traveling all the way to where the last wave currently is, and that means that the farther they push these lanes in, the farther back those Web Weavers are going to be, and they lose hit points over time. So in this case they make it a little bit less powerful, but of course it's still quite strong. I mean, in this case we're having finally level 10 hitting for Fnatic, and that means Void Prism, Tranquility, Judgment, Phoenix and Avatar. But Web Weavers at the bot lane, at the top lane, starting to do the damage. The Mule doesn't really help anything with that. Over here, do we have a jump in? Yes, there it is! They're trying to take JPL out, and they get the kill against Sylvanas. Well done. Get the kill here with the Judgment as an additional follow-up. The silence here thanks to the polymorph on Avatar. We had actually Brightwing at the bot lane, also just starting to push in a bit more than that. Still a significant lead in experience that we are seeing at the time for Na'Vi. They are a level ahead still. But of course with 91 gems available for Fnatic, if they get the turn-ins here, they will get 2 in a row. They can get 2 in a row. And this fort, this has to be destroyed or it will be healed up by the completely. And it looks like Fnatic just Na'Vi can't really go in and finish it here. So far, Fnatic is doing a pretty decent job at protecting it. We have once again Lowell turning in, by the way, like he snuck away. And there it is. Turn-in is ready. And there's the hook. That's the problem with the blink, but if you are willing to sacrifice all your ults, well, then you get that kill after all. But Lowell blinking away there. Water Elemental now, of course, is down. Wailing Arrow as well, so 2 of the ults. But yeah, that's the problem that you have when you are rushing in with a hook against someone like Zeratul. If you have the follow-up there and the entire team around, ETC was actually trying to do that. He was trying to power slide right over the target, and if he does that in time, then you can burst a target down if it's completely alone. So in this case, they had to use the Eternal's heroic ability, but I guess they are not too sorry about that. Getting Zeratul out of the game in this situation was definitely worth it. The problem really is that they are up at the top still defending against these, and that is not only going to kill the well, but it's also going to apply some significant damage to the fort. I just don't think that Fnatic can really, well, they actually can fight again, I guess, with Lowell there. There is no 13 talent yet for Na'Vi, but it's going to be then any second, so they have to retreat. And they might have to use Void Prism to get away. Oh, the hook just barely missing. That would have been a disastrous one. I think Terrell was still in cooldown on his jump, so he could not have used that. Another turn-in opportunity in 7 seconds, and they still have 87 of the gems. So with that, if they turn those in, then they might start to make a bit of a comeback there. But they're still a level behind, and by now it's a talent level. It is a talent level. Oh, and yes, there comes the hook, and Tyrael gets polymorphed and ETC'd. Wow. Really well done. Great timings here on the side of Na'Vi. Yeah, they should have seen that coming. Actually, Tyrael was a bit late on that, and Ace is getting killed now too. He should have moved back already. I'm a bit surprised to see him still around there. Now they lost a fair amount of those gems already. And how many do we have for their opponent? Well, 43. Not a real turn-in just yet, but still, it's a significant number that they can turn in if they want to. But at first, apparently, they are trying to take down the structures here. And taking that tower is not an issue whatsoever. So right now, looking at damage and also healing just in general, as you can see, especially Sylvanas and Jaina are doing the damage for Na'Vi here, not a big surprise. With Kel'Thas, of course, at 10k so far, and Tyrael has also some significant damage here thanks to a Smite build. It's important for Fnatic to hit level 16, I feel. They are playing a catch-up game against their opponent now, and if they hit level 16, then they can really use the power that is Kel'Thas, but for now, they have to play this a bit more passive. They are trying to get the turn-ins, and I mean, it's important for them to do that, but they need to make some kind of sneaky move to move like around their opponents to get that done. Now they're just going for camps. This is going to be another completed turn-in for NaVi, and that is of course going to be a bit of an issue. Relentless taken, Groupie is over here, the camp, is it going to be stolen away? Looks very much like that's going to happen. Oh, they're trying to go in, they have the talent, they're trying to move in for that, and they kill Brightwing. Brightwing is already that great Void Prism here in the back. They're going for ETC. Nice silence, a 4-man silence in this case, but still it might not help. Oh, Shinobu missing the hammer, Breeze moving away in the last second. They're not getting another kill, are they? Wow, only Brightwing taken out. They have an easier time deep pushing because of that though, but they're still behind in EXP. Life Seed taken for Malfurion. Huh? Goes for Mule and then takes Life Seed afterwards. Okay, so no Enduring Growth. We're seeing also Wormhole for Tacita now, Imposing Will, Thunderburn, Thunderstrike actually, and Flamethrower. So both of the teams now on the level 13 talent. The bot lane is still being pushed, and with Sylvanas you can push that so easily. That Black Arrow trade is just absolutely great. And right now, looking at the build that Eternal is using, thinking about the build that he used on Sky Temple, I'm pretty sure that he misclicked on Envenom. He probably thought that he was already skilling the level 7 talent and would wanted to go for maybe Unstable Poison. Maybe, I don't know, but that looked very much like a misclick, and I think looking at his build here, that pretty much confirms it. So for now we have level 15, nearly 16 versus 14. The wall completely destroyed down here. And Shinobu is... misses another one. Schwimpy was already going for another hook there. And yeah, NaVi is playing this really well. I like the way that NaVi is currently... Oh, again the move against JPL. Yeah, he can't be out there. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy that you have to play so defensive with Sylvanas, but as you can see, once you show your face, you are gonna get jumped by Tyrael, and then you have no chance. The Red Web Weavers are now descending, so we're seeing Fnatic now with the objective working in their favor. That might actually bring them, not really back, but it's at least going to close the distance and experience to some degree. We're seeing the level 16 talent now available for their opponents, and that's Fishing Hook, that's Critterize, Numbing Blast, and there's the hook. And again, he was still in cooldown on his blink. He needs to be a bit more careful with that. He could have blinked over here easily, but in this case, he did still have that cooldown. Nice moves with Stitches. I'm really liking the way that they're using him in this game. Fnatic kind of forced them into Stitches, but in this case, it works out really well for them. That was unfortunately a miss, but yeah. This is looking pretty good for NaVi right now. They're making great moves here, and we're having Ace of Spades now also being taken down. Wow. The chase is just real. There's so much momentum going for NaVi. They are playing an amazing game. JPL is in, well, not really a lot of trouble, but he's just always endangered by the opponents just jumping him 6 days to Sunday and trying to take him down before the fight even starts. So he probably has to play even more passive than he already does. But at this point, especially the team fights and then also the chases are great what NaVi is showing there. They're just making sure that they always have the upper hand in these fights, and if Fnatic doesn't get that snipe kill at the beginning with the Judgment initiation, then NaVi is just looking absolutely fantastic in these battles. We're having them with 9 kills against 3 right now. The level 16 talent is going to hit for Fnatic pretty soon. That of course also played a pretty big role in the last few battles there. If you have an opponent that's running with a Cold Embrace on level 16 for Sylvanas, then Burst is definitely something that is going to give you a very hard time, and that was something that we could see in the last few games already. So now we're having double bombs, we're having the Hardened Focus, there's also the additional talent on Tyrael, which is Blood for Blood in this case, and finally we have Ignite. Ignite on Kael'thas might change the tides of the battle. Ignite on Kael'thas could tip the scales in favor of Fnatic if he gets a few decent ones in there. So this is going to be really the moment of truth, I feel. How much can Kael'thas contribute to that? Already way in the back, making sure that they're away from a potential hook from the side. So they're moving back for now. But yeah, Fnatic is still not out of this. They are in a tricky spot. No questions about that. But they could still make this happen. They could turn in. They only have 13 though, and that's not going to be enough. 51 on the side of their opponents. Very close. NaVi is extremely close to getting another turn in and getting the Web Weavers here. So far, only one fort has been eliminated from Fnatic. They took down, or off Fnatic, from them up to the top. They took this one down. Fight in the mid lane. Is there going to be another hook? Is he going to be able to hit that? Vision had been granted. Nope, prediction hook, didn't really hit anything. Here comes once again the scouting drone. Both of the healers, by the way, took scouting drone on level 1. Vision on this map is everything. It's one of the reasons why Zagara is so popular. It's actually pretty cool to see that Zagara it wasn't even picked. Was neither picked nor banned. We oftentimes see her banned out on this map because she's so strong here. But the entire draft circled more around Khaldor than anything else. And the potential front lineup, of course. So down here, still a lot of pressure at the fort, and that could fall. This fort could fall, and that would give more experience to Fnatic, but right now they're still 11. This is like the entire time, it's one level, right? Like the entire game, it feels like they've been one level behind their opponents. NaVi has a complete turn-in, and they're trying to turn in now. Rotations again, both teams very cautious here. It's the last map, guys. Winner bracket or loser bracket, that's the question. Will you advance in the bracket or will you drop down into the losers bracket? And both of the teams have played a lot of games today. They've played some great series, especially this one was very entertaining, and everything is on the line here. Do you really win this game, or do you drop down into the losers bracket? And NaVi is in the lead, and they know that. They don't really want to risk anything here. If they overcommit, if they expose themselves a bit too much, lose a team fight, lose all those gems that they collected earlier, they might still lose this, and they don't want that. So right now, there we have an attempt for a hook. Didn't really work out. Breeze hit by the flame strike. Got, of course, also with a living bombed, a bit more additional damage. We're having Breeze again with the turn. And just both of the teams really just setting everything up down here at the bottom and trying to work for that. Experience coming into the lanes that are trickling by, and for Fnatic that's actually like the two at the top lane now as well. So once again the attempt. Hook is once more hitting. This is really tricky. If Shrimpy hits one of those hooks and gets a good one in. At this long distance, even when you blink away, it's going to be tricky to get away from the rest of the team. With a fishing hook, this is going to become an issue. Before that, it's a bit easier, but because the distance between you and your team is not going to be that great once you get hooked. But in this case, it's very, very different. If you're caught out in the middle, then you are in trouble. So right now, we're having Shinobu again with a double stun. Getting those in. And Lowell is over here, up to the left, we're having Freds. Freds is starting to move a bit farther away, and there's the hook against Ace of Spades, who did not pick... Oh, there's the ice... No, there's the Void Prison, he did not pick Ice Block. They go for the kill, and they take down... Oh, ETC is dead, but so is Malfurion. Malfurion, the healer, is out, and that's always bad in one of those team fights. You need to have that heal. Actually, at this point, it's also Mirrodin that's getting slowed here by the Water Elemental, and Eternal is jumping in with Jaina now too. The hook attempt, he dodges it, but JPL is ready, and they get the kill against Mirrodin as well. Very well done here. Lowell did turn in, apparently. He turned in like a lot of gems, as it seems. 55, that's what they're currently having here. So in this case, it was really Malfurion not going for the ice block. That hook was brutal. Lowell was trying to do his best to keep him alive and use the Void Prism at least to stun the rest of them out, but that didn't really work. Trying to make a couple of plays here now, sees that the hook is down and starts to blink in and wormhole back because he knows that he can't be killed. But that's another set of gems that has already been turned in. So far, it looks like we are not going to see a Web Weavers though, since, well, NaVi can't complete their turn-in. They are in a position where they lost a few in the last fight after ETC died, so they don't have all of them anymore. And if Freds is able to just move up to the top and turn in there, that's all that they need for now. So Lowell is already there, signals to Freds, hey, move in, take that, turn those in, but yeah, that didn't happen. Uh-oh, where's the blink? Oh, I feel he should have... Okay, that worked out in that case, but blinking into the same direction where you got hooked from is oftentimes a bit of a death wish, because that's exactly what your opponent expects. And in this case, I guess he didn't really have another choice, did he? If he blinks to the bottom, he's completely isolated from the rest of the team. So yeah, works out for him. So Zeratul, once again, showing that hooking him is not always a guaranteed death, that you can simply blank away from that. Freds was anticipating a hook as well, already through the sword here. And we had a bit of a hook attempt by his opponent, but that didn't really work out properly. The level 20 talents are now here, and here comes again the turn in for NaVi. NaVi turns in once more. And it is, in this case, it is actually the tour bus. It is the tour bus, so you can use your mosh pit and then you can just like power slide, which is quite fun. A Hardened Shield is currently being used on Stitchers, and he is going to be super tanky with this. But yeah, boss at the top, the throw pit. NaVi is in the throw pit. How is that going to work out for them? Hook is missing again. They're going for this one. NaVi apparently doesn't want to throw just yet. They're not going into the pit, but they are starting to accompany the minions that they just sent out on the map. And with the black arrow disabling the fort is of course an easy feat. So they do that in the top lane, take down another one, and well, Fnatic has to wait for the 20 anyways. Fnatic is waiting for 20. The hook against Tyrael! And he got locked down. That was a bit too fast. Brightwing with the polymorph was just ready in time. Great hook there, and Stitches is really working out for NaVi. That pick is really working out much better than I thought for them. Without a without any kind of like massive lockdown, they only have polymorph, which I guess is not too bad, but oftentimes in the past Uther and Tyrande were really the heroes that you would see with the Stitches. But I like the way that they're especially keeping ETC close, to just simply try and go for a power slide over the hero that got hooked in. So Shrimpy is getting his hooks in, maybe not every single one of them, but he gets the one in that counts. Keep is down, and the rest of the lanes were already de-pushed. So Keep is down, we're having Storm Shield, Nexus Blades, Hardened Shield, Rewind, and Bolt of the Storm. It's interesting to see the Rewind on Mirrodin, so apparently they don't really feel like they need to have 2 heroes with a Hardened Shield, but with the Rewind we have a potential 4 targets that are being stunned. They're up here in the throw pit right now. Oh, and, well, already attacking this one. Are they going in? Looks like Fnatic is trying to fight this again. Malfurion! Oh my god. Malfurion is already dead. These hooks, like, he always hits the targets that he needs, right? I think the only one that hasn't been hooked yet was Khaldor, but he's getting Malfurion now for the 2nd time, and Malfurion doesn't have Ice Block. There's no Ice Block to keep him alive once he gets hooked in. They're trying to go for the fight again, but this is the 2nd fight that they have to fight without a healer. And there comes the stun, or the attack against Shinobu. Jaina at least dies, but Shinobu is dead now too. And there comes the silence, and this ends Zeratul. With the silence, Zeratul can't blink away anymore. They're going for Kel'Thas, and Kel'Thas has no escape. He is dying too, and that means that we are having potentially the end of the game in sight, as NaVi is moving towards the core. Freds is still there, but he's the only one. It's a 3 versus 1 right now. Freds is trying to do what he can. He has 2 tanks and 1 healer. Not really the most ferocious setup that you have here. Not really the most damage that he could dish out, but the next hero that is going to come back to play for Fnatic is going to be Malfurion, and I guess he's in the same boat then. So, yep, there's the points on the core that are already dropping. Malfurion is trying to do his thing, goes for the roots right away. He has Mule, he could drop it. I don't think it's cool. It is cooldown, I suppose. They're going for it, 40 seconds, 8 on Mirrodin, and now they're not gonna get it. It's too much. It's just way too much. Splendor and Breeze. This game is over. This game is won. There comes... Oh, is it? Yeah! They get 1 kill to start. Schmippy! And they... No! On the last second, the core drops. NaVi defeats Fnatic with a 2-1. Congratulations to them. They move on in the winner's bracket of the Enter the Storm tournament.
Wow, Stitches really paying off here. Great hooks that we saw in that game, and now we're having NaVi taking the series with a 2-0. With the 2-1, of course. Congratulations to NaVi, really well played. For Fnatic, it's a bit of a disappointment. They had very nice games here and a couple of really great plays, but in the end it is NaVi who just make their way through the winner's bracket, and Fnatic now has to fight in the loser's bracket to keep their chance to go to the grand final alive. Great matches here once again, 3 mappers, always exciting, absolutely loving it. The team compositions these days are also very fun to watch. A lot of heroes coming into play that we haven't seen in quite some time. If you guys enjoyed the series, give it a thumbs up on YouTube. I hope that you had fun today, and if you did, then subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course. I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm content here. Have a great week. Bye bye.